My dad asked me to drive him to his chemotherapy appointments after we hadn't spoken in 8 years. I said no. I told him I had my own family now and that he made his choice when he walked out on mine. A week later, my sister called me crying. He died alone in a motel bathroom. When I went to collect his things, I found a birthday card addressed to my son, a handwritten list of things I did wrong, and a Polaroid of me from when I was 5. On the back, he wrote, "Still my favorite day. I'm Ethan, 35, a high school math teacher in a quiet Nebraska town. My life's steady, married to Sarah, with a 6-year-old son, Noah, and a mortgage we're just managing. 8 years ago, my dad, Tom, walked out on our family after a fight with my mom that I still don't fully understand. He didn't just leave, he vanished. No calls, no letters, just a void where my father used to be. My sister, Claire, 29, kept in touch with him sporadically, but I was done. I had my own family to protect, and I wasn't about to let him hurt us again. So when he called out of the blue last month, asking for a ride to chemotherapy, I felt like I'd been sucker punched. It was a Tuesday evening, Noah's bedtime, when my phone lit up with an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. "Ethan, it's Dad," he said, his voice rough, like he'd smoked a pack a day. "I'm sick. Cancer. Need someone to drive me to chemo. Can you help?" I froze, Sarah looking at me from across the room, her eyes questioning. 8 years of silence, and he thought he could just waltz back? "No," I said, my voice hard. "You made your choice when you left. I've got my own family now." He was quiet for a moment, then said, "I understand. I'm sorry." I hung up, my hands shaking, and told Sarah everything. She hugged me, but her face was tight. "You sure about this?" she asked. "He's sick." I nodded, but doubt gnawed at me. A week later, Claire called, sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. "Dad's dead," she managed. "Found him in a motel bathroom, alone." My stomach dropped. I hadn't expected that. Not so soon. Claire said he'd been staying at a rundown motel 20 miles away, too stubborn to ask for help again after I'd shut him down. The guilt hit like a freight train, but so did anger. Why hadn't he fought harder to stay in our lives? Why now, when it was too late? I told Claire I'd handled collecting his things. Someone had to, and she was a wreck. Sarah offered to come, but I needed to do this alone. "Be careful," she said, squeezing my hand. "You don't know what you'll find." The motel was a dive. Peeling paint, flickering neon sign, the kind of place you don't stay unless you're out of options. The manager, a tired woman named Rita, handed me a key to room 17. "He didn't have much," she said. "Kept to himself. Paid in cash." The room smelled of mildew and stale coffee. A duffel bag sat on the bed, next to a half-empty bottle of whiskey and a stack of medical papers. I rifled through them. Chemo schedules, lung cancer diagnosis, stage 4. He hadn't been lying. My chest tightened, but I pushed it down, focusing on the task. In the duffel, I found a birthday card addressed to Noah, unopened, with a cartoon dinosaur on the front. Inside, in Dad's shaky handwriting, "Happy 6th, Noah? Grandpa's proud of you." My throat closed up. He'd never met Noah, never even asked about him. Next to it was a crumpled list titled "Things I Did Wrong," scrawled on motel stationery. It read, "Left Ethan and Claire. Lied to Linda. Chose fear over family. Didn't fight hard enough. Linda was mom. Gone 3 years now from a stroke." I stared at the list, my anger mixing with something softer, something I didn't want to feel. Then I found the Polaroid, tucked in a side pocket. Me, 5 years old, grinning on a swing set, Dad's hand visible pushing me. On the back, in fresh ink, "Still my favorite day." I sank onto the bed, the photo trembling in my hands. Why keep this? Why write that? I wanted to hate him, but the weight of his regret was heavy in that room. I bagged his things, clothes, a worn Bible, a few photos, and drove home, the Polaroid in my pocket like a stone. At home, Sarah read the list and card, her eyes tearing up. "He was trying to make amends," she said softly. "Maybe he didn't know how." I shook my head. Too late for that, but I couldn't stop thinking about his call, his voice, weak, desperate. Had I been too harsh? Claire called later, still crying. "Did you find anything?" she asked. I told her about the card, the list, the Polaroid. She went quiet, then said, "He talked about you, Ethan. At the end. Said he messed up, but he loved you." I didn't know what to say. Loved me? He'd left me to pick up the pieces when Mom fell apart. The next day, I went through the medical papers. They confirmed the cancer, but something caught my eye. A prescription for painkillers, filled at a pharmacy I didn't recognize, 50 miles away. Why so far? I called the pharmacy, posing as Dad's executor. The clerk was cagey, but let slip that Dad had been a regular, always paying cash, always with another man. "Big guy, tattoos," she said. "Called him Ray." My skin prickled. Dad hadn't mentioned anyone else. Who was Ray? I called Claire, asking if Dad had talked about a friend. "No," she said, confused. "He was alone, except for his nurse visits." I drove to the pharmacy, a small shop in a strip mall. The clerk, a young woman with pink hair, recognized Dad's name. "Yeah, Tom. Quiet guy, sick as hell. Always came with that Ray dude, kinda pushy, always rushing him." I showed her the Polaroid, hoping for a reaction. She frowned. "That's not Tom's kid. He showed me a picture once. His son was older, a teacher or something." My heart stopped. That was me. So whose kid was in the Polaroid? I pressed her for more, but she clammed up, saying she'd already said too much. Back home, I dug deeper into Dad's things. The duffel had a hidden pocket I'd missed, with a folded letter addressed to me, dated a month ago. It read, "Ethan, I don't expect forgiveness. I left because I was scared, not because I didn't love you. I got mixed up in something bad. Ray's still out there. Be careful. I'm sorry." My hands shook. Mixed up in what? I called Daniels, a local cop I knew from Noah's school safety talks. "Can you look into someone named Ray, maybe tied to my dad, Tom Harper?" Daniels promised to check, but his tone was skeptical. "Your dad was sick, Ethan. Probably just a friend helping out." I wasn't convinced. I went back to the motel, asking Rita more questions. She remembered Ray. Tall, tattooed, he drove a black pickup. Came by a lot, especially near the end, she said. Looked like he was checking on Tom, but it felt off. Off how? She couldn't say, just shrugged. I drove to the hospital listed on Dad's chemo papers, hoping for answers. The nurse, a kind woman named Maria, confirmed Dad's treatment, but mentioned Ray. He wasn't family, but he'd show up, asking about Tom's condition. Seemed too interested, if you ask me. My gut screamed danger. Ray wasn't just a friend. He was involved in whatever Dad was hiding. That night, I found a burner phone in Dad's duffel. wall, dead, but with a charger that fit. I powered it up, revealing a single text thread with R. The last message, sent the day before Dad died. I'm out. Tell Ethan I'm sorry. My heart raced. Dad had been trying to break free from something, and Ray was part of it. I forwarded the texts to Daniels, who called immediately. This changes things, he said. We're looking into Ray Carver, known for small-time scams. Extortion, mostly. Your dad might have been in over his head. Scams? My dad, the guy who'd taught me to ride a bike, mixed up with a criminal? I couldn't sleep, the Polaroid and letter burning holes in my mind. Who was the kid in the photo? Why did Dad call it his favorite day? And what was Ray holding over him? The next morning, Claire came over, her eyes red but determined. I found something, she said, handing me a key with a tag. Storage Unit 42, Lincoln Self-Storage. Dad mailed it to me last month. No explanation. My pulse quickened. Whatever Dad was hiding, it was in that unit. We drove there together, the key heavy in my pocket, not knowing what we'd find but certain it would change everything. Claire and I pulled into the lot of Lincoln Self-Storage, the key to Unit 42 burning a hole in my pocket. The Nebraska sun beat down, glinting off rows of metal doors, but I felt a chill. Dad's letter. I got mixed up in something bad. Ray's still out there, echoed in my head, alongside the Polaroid of a kid who wasn't me and the cryptic favorite day note. What had Dad been hiding? And who was Ray Carver? Claire gripped my arm as we approached the unit, her face pale. Ethan, what if it's something we can't handle? She whispered. I didn't answer. I had to know, even if it broke me. The lock clicked open and the door groaned as I rolled it up. Inside was a cramped space packed with boxes, a filing cabinet, and a dusty tarp covering something bulky. The air smelled of mildew and old paper. Claire hesitated, but I dove in, tearing open a box. It held bank statements in Dad's name, but the addresses were unfamiliar. Omaha, Kansas City, even Nevada. Deposits and withdrawals, thousands of dollars, dated years after he'd left us. What the hell was he doing? I muttered. Claire found a folder in the cabinet labeled Regrets. Inside were letters, dozens of them, addressed to me and Claire, never sent. One read, I left to protect you. Ray wouldn't let me go. Forgive me. My stomach twisted. Protect us from what? Under the tarp was a safe, combination locked. I tried Dad's birthday, Mom's, mine, nothing worked. Claire found a photo album in another box filled with pictures of us as kids, but also that same Polaroid kid, always with Dad, always smiling. On one, Dad had written, Tommy, 1990. Tommy? Who was Tommy? Claire's eyes widened. Did we have a brother? She asked, her voice shaking. I shook my head, but the doubt was there. Dad had secrets, and this unit was spilling them. I called Daniels, my voice tight. We found a storage unit, bank statements, letters, a safe, something about a kid named Tommy, and Ray Carver's name keeps coming up. Daniels was quiet, then said, stay there, I'm sending a team. While we waited, I pried open the filing cabinet's locked drawer, finding a ledger, names, dates, payments. Ray Carver's name appeared next to sums as high as $10,000, labeled consulting fees. Consulting? Dad was a mechanic, not a businessman. The ledger also listed a bar, Rusty's Tap, 10 miles away, with dates matching the payments. My skin prickled. Was that where Dad met Ray? The police arrived, led by Daniels, who looked grim as he scanned the unit. This looks like money laundering, he said, bagging the ledger. Carver's tied to a crew running cash through small businesses, bars, motels, you name it. Your dad might have been their front. My head spun. Dad? A front for criminals? I showed him the letters and the Tommy photos. Daniels frowned. Could be a kid from before you, or someone else he was close to. We'll dig into it. They took the safe, promising to crack it, but warned us to stay away from Rusty's Tap. Carver's a regular there, Daniels said. He's dangerous. I couldn't let it go. That night, even with Sarah telling me not to, I got in the car and drove to Rusty's Tap. She begged me to wait, to call the cops, let them handle it. But I needed something. Answers, a face, anything that made sense. Rusty's was just what I expected. Loud, smoky, full of people who didn't care who you were. Smelled like spilled beer and sweat. I slid into a booth and kept my head low, scanning for someone who might be Ray. Tall, tattoos, bad news. A skinny guy with a goatee wiping down the bar gave me a look. You Tom's kid? He asked like it was nothing. My stomach dropped. How do you know that? He shrugged. You look like him. He said you were a teacher. Came in here with Ray sometimes. My pulse kicked up. Where is Ray now? His eyes flicked toward a door near the back. Don't ask. You don't want that kind of trouble. I should have left, should have listened, but I didn't. I ordered a soda and stared at that door like it might open and swallow me. Then it did. A man stepped out. Big guy, tattoos crawling up his neck, face like stone. Ray Carver. His eyes swept the bar, passed over me like I was just part of the wall, but I knew he saw. I grabbed my phone, texted Daniels fast. Ray's here. Rusty's. Back room. I tried to sit normal, drink normal, but my hand wouldn't stop shaking. Ray was talking to a woman, blonde, maybe mid-30s. Looked like she didn't want to be there. She handed him an envelope. He stuffed it into his jacket without even looking. Something shady. I snapped a photo, sent it to Daniels. He texted back quick, get out. 10 minutes. I was about to make a move when Ray looked right at me. Dead in the eye. I felt nailed in place. He walked over like he knew the place was his. Leaned over my booth, voice low and rough. You're Tom's boy, huh? I nodded. Couldn't speak. What do you want? I didn't answer fast enough. He leaned in, close enough I smelled beer and something sour. Your dad owed me. Stay out of it, or you'll owe me too. And just like that, he was gone. Slipped through the back door without another word. I booked it to the car, heart slamming, checking the mirror all the way home like he might still be behind me. Sarah was furious. You could have been shot, she hissed. Noah asleep just upstairs. What's in that safe that's worth any of this? I didn't have a good answer. All I had were questions. Those letters, the ledger, those old pictures of Tommy. Stuff Dad left behind like pieces to something unfinished. Next morning, Daniels called. They hit Rusty's, but Ray was already gone. The safe, though, solid gold. 50 grand in cash, fake IDs, and a letter. Not to my mom, to someone else. Another Linda, dated 1990. It said, I'm sorry I left you and Tommy. I'll make it right. I couldn't breathe. Tommy? Was he Dad's son? My half-brother? Daniels had more. The IDs are tied to Carver's crew. Your dad was moving money through a fake company connected to Rusty's. Tommy might be involved. Or maybe your dad was hiding him. We don't know yet. I felt sick. Dad had a whole second life none of us knew about. out, and it pulled him into Ray's world. Claire came over later. She was white as a sheet. Why didn't he tell us? She asked, hugging the Polaroid like it meant something now. I didn't know, but I had to find out. I traced the address from those old bank statements. Led me to a rough-looking place in Omaha. Apartment complex that hadn't seen a paint job since the 80s. The landlord was some old guy with a limp. Tom Harper? Yeah, I remember him. Lived here for a bit with a lady named Linda. Had a kid too. Boy, real small. My chest squeezed. Where'd they go? The man shrugged. Moved out back in '92. That was the last I saw of him. I got back in the car feeling like the wind had been knocked out of me. Tommy was real, and Dad had left him too. Maybe that list wasn't just guilt, it was confession. Later that night I got a text. No name, just a number I didn't recognize. Stop digging or you'll end up like Tom. Attached was a photo, my house, taken from the street, zoomed in on our front door. I felt ice down my spine. I called Daniels. He sent a patrol car right away. Ray's rattled, he said. We're watching him, but he's watching you too. Sarah clung to me, her hands cold. Ethan, you have to let this go. But I couldn't. I was in it now. Tommy, Ray, Dad's lies. They were all tangled together. I dug back into the duffel bag hoping there was one more clue I missed. That's when I saw the card. Business card. Lawyer in Omaha. James Holt. On the back, call if Ray comes for you. My hands were shaking when I dialed. I didn't know who I was about to talk to, or what they were about to say. The phone rang 3 times before a gruff voice answered. Holt Law. Who's this? I gripped my cell, the business card trembling in my other hand. Dad's note. Call if Ray comes for you. Burning in my mind. Ethan Harper. I voice shaky. My dad was Tom Harper. I found your card in his things. He mentioned Ray Carver. The line went silent. Then James Holt, the lawyer, spoke low. Meet me tomorrow, Omaha, my office. Don't talk to anyone. He hung up before I could ask more. My heart pounded. The threatening text with the photo of my house, Ray's confrontation at Rusty's tap, the safe full of cash and fake IDs, it was all connected, and Holt knew something. Sarah was asleep. Noah tucked in upstairs, but I couldn't rest. Ray was watching, and Dad's secrets were pulling me deeper into his world. I told Sarah about the call in the morning, her face tight with worry. Ethan, you're in over your head, she said, pouring coffee. Let the police handle Ray. But I couldn't. The Polaroid of Tommy, the ledger, Dad's letter to another Linda, it was too much to ignore. Holt might know who Tommy is, I said. Maybe why Dad left. She sighed, but didn't argue. Just made me promise to call Daniels if things got dicey. I kissed her and Noah, grabbed the duffel with Dad's things, and drove the 2 hours to Omaha, the business card my only lead. Holt's office was a cramped room above a pawn shop, paper stacked high, a fan rattling in the corner. He was older than I'd expected, 60s, balding, with sharp eyes behind thick glasses. You look like Tom, he said, motioning me to sit. I cut to the chase. Who's Tommy? What was my dad into with Ray Carver? Holt leaned back, studying me. Your dad came to me in '90, scared out of his mind. He'd been working for Ray, moving money through a bar, Rusty's. Small time at first, but Ray's crew got greedy. Drugs, fake IDs, extortion. Tom wanted out, but Ray had him by the throat. Said he'd hurt you and Claire if he didn't cooperate. My stomach churned. And Tommy? Holt hesitated, then pulled a file from a drawer. Tommy was your half-brother. Tom had an affair with a woman named Linda Grayson in '89. Tommy was their kid, born '90. Tom left them to protect you and your mom, but Ray used Tommy to keep him in line. I felt like I'd been hit. A half-brother? The Polaroid. Tommy on the swing set. Dad's still my favorite day. Suddenly made sense. Where's Tommy now? I asked. Holt's face darkened. Missing since '95. Linda too. Tom thought Ray did something to them, but he had no proof. I handed Holt the ledger and letters from the storage unit. He scanned them, his jaw tightening. This is Ray's operation. Dates, payments, all of it. Tom was keeping records, maybe to turn on Ray. He looked at me, eyes grave. Ray's dangerous, Ethan. That text you got? He's cleaning house now that Tom's gone. I nodded, my throat dry. What do I do? Holt scribbled an address. Linda's sister, Mary Grayson, lives in Lincoln. She might know where Tommy is, but be careful. Ray's got eyes everywhere. I drove to Lincoln. The address, a small house with a sagging porch. Mary was in her 50s, wary with tired eyes. You're Tom's son, she said, not a question as she let me in. I showed her the Polaroid. Her face crumpled. That's Tommy, my nephew. He was 5 when he and Linda disappeared. Tom said they were safe, but I never believed him. She confirmed Dad's story. Ray had forced him to work for the crew, threatening Tommy and Linda. After they vanished, Tom broke, said it was his fault. I asked if she knew where they were. No, she said, tears falling. But I got a postcard in '98, no return address. Just said, we're okay, don't look. I think it was Linda. My head spun. Tommy might be alive, but Ray was still out there, and he knew I was digging. I called Daniels from Mary's driveway, updating him on Holt and Mary. We're closing in on Ray, he said. Got a warrant for his place, but he's slippery. Stay with your family, Ethan. I promised. But as I hung up, my phone buzzed. A new text. Unknown number. You're just like Tom. Back off. Attached was a photo of Noah's school playground, taken that morning. My blood ran cold. I sped home, calling Sarah to keep Noah inside. Lock the doors, I said, my voice shaking. She didn't argue. At home, Sarah was pale, Noah playing upstairs, oblivious. I showed her the text, and she grabbed my arm. Ethan, this stops now. Noah's not safe. I nodded, but my mind was on Tommy. If he was alive, I had to find him. For Dad, for me. I called Holt, asking about the postcard. Any chance Linda left a trail? He promised to dig, mentioning a PI he knew who'd worked missing persons cases. Meanwhile, Daniels sent a patrol car to our house, but Ray was a ghost. No trace at his apartment or Rusty's. I went through Dad's duffel again, finding a keychain with a tiny photo of Tommy, tucked in a zipper pocket. My heart ached. Dad had carried this, a reminder of his guilt. I called Claire, telling her about Tommy. A brother, she whispered. Why didn't he tell us? I didn't know, but I felt Dad's regret in every letter, every note. The next day, Holt called with a lead. My PI friend found a record. Linda Grayson, living under an alias in Colorado, 2005. No mention of Tommy, but it's something. I'm sending you the address. I thanked him, my pulse racing. Colorado was a long shot, but it was all I had. Against Sarah's protests, I booked a flight to Denver, promising to be back in 2 days. I need to know if Tommy's alive, I said. She hugged me, tears in her her eyes. Just come home safe. In Denver, I drove to the address, a trailer park on the city's edge. The woman who answered the door was older, her face lined, but her eyes were Linda's, from the photos Mary had shown me. I'm Ethan Harper, I said, Tom's son. She froze, then let me in, her hands shaking. I knew this day would come, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Linda told me everything. She and Tommy had fled Ray in '95, hiding under new names. Tom had helped them escape, but Ray never stopped looking. Tommy's alive, she said, tears falling. He's 35, living in Seattle. Goes by Michael now. Doesn't know about you or Claire. My heart soared. Tommy was alive, but fear followed. Ray was still out there, and he knew I was closing in. I asked for Tommy's contact info. Linda hesitated, then wrote it down. Don't drag him into this, she warned. Ray's dangerous. I flew home, Tommy's number burning in my pocket. Daniels called as I landed. We got a hit on Ray's truck, spotted near Rusty's. We're moving in tonight. I wanted to be there, but Sarah's face stopped me. Stay with us, she pleaded. I nodded, but my mind was on Ray, Tommy, and Dad's secrets. That night my phone buzzed again. A voicemail from an unknown number. A man's voice, not Ray's. Ethan, it's Michael. I heard you're looking for me. We need to talk. My heart stopped. Tommy, Michael, had found me. But as I saved the voicemail, a car slowed outside our house, its headlights cutting through the dark. I stood frozen in my living room. The voicemail from Michael, Tommy, my half-brother, echoing in my ears. We need to talk. The car outside our house lingered, its headlights slicing through the curtains, before peeling away into the Nebraska night. My heart pounded as I checked the locks. Sarah clutching Noah upstairs, her whispered, Ethan, what's happening? Heavy with fear. Ray Carver was out there, his threats escalating. First the photo of Noah's playground, now this. But Michael's call was a lifeline, a chance to unravel Dad's secrets and maybe find closure. I texted Daniels the voicemail details, my hands shaking. Ray's circling, I wrote, and I found Tommy, goes by Michael in Seattle. Daniels replied instantly, stay put, we're raiding Ray's hideout now. Call Michael, but don't leave. I dialed Michael's number, my pulse racing. He answered on the second ring, his voice cautious but warm. Ethan, Mom told me you found her. I didn't know about you until recently. I swallowed hard, explaining Dad's death, the storage unit, the Polaroid, Ray's threats. Michael was quiet, then said, Dad saved us, me and Mom, from Ray. He was a monster, extorting Dad for years. I've been hiding my whole life because of him. My chest tightened. Dad had left us to protect Tommy, but it cost him everything. Where are you now? I asked. Seattle, but I'm flying to Omaha tomorrow. I want to help. I hesitated. Ray was still out there, but agreed to meet him at Holt's office, the lawyer who'd known Dad's secrets. Sarah was furious when I told her. You're meeting a stranger while Ray's stalking us? She snapped, Noah asleep in her arms. I showed her the Polaroid, Dad's note, still my favorite day, and the letter to Linda. He's my brother, Sarah, and he knows Ray. I have to do this. She softened, but her eyes were scared. Just come home to us, I promised, kissing them both, then spent the night on the couch. Dad's duffel beside me, the burner phone's text. I'm out. Tell Ethan I'm sorry, haunting me. Dad had tried to break free from Ray, just like he'd helped Tommy and Linda escape. But why hadn't he told me? At dawn, Daniels called with big news. We got Ray, he said. Caught him at a warehouse near Rusty's tap, loading cash and fake IDs into his truck. He's in custody, singing like a canary to cut a deal. Relief flooded me, but I pressed for details. Do you admit to anything about my dad? Daniels paused. Says Tom was his front for years, laundered money through Rusty's and a dozen other spots. When Tom got sick, he tried to quit, but Ray threatened to go after you and Claire. Tom kept quiet to keep you safe. My throat closed up. Dad's list left Ethan and Claire, chose fear over family, made sense now. He'd been protecting us, even in his silence. I drove to Omaha to meet Michael, my nerves raw. Holt's office was quiet, the fans still rattling. Michael walked in, and I knew him instantly. Same eyes as Dad, same crooked smile I'd seen in the Polaroid. He was 35, a mechanic with a quiet life in Seattle, but his face carried the weight of years in hiding. I found out about you last year, he said, sitting across from me. Mom told me everything. Dad's deal with Ray, how he got us out. I wanted to reach out, but I was scared Ray would find me. I handed him the Polaroid, and his eyes welled up. This was at a park near our old place. Dad loved that day, said it was before everything went wrong. Holt joined us, laying out the case against Ray, with the ledger, the safe's contents, and Ray's confession. He's facing 10 years for money laundering and extortion, he said. Your dad's records helped us nail him. Dates, payments, even names of other guys in the crew. I felt a surge of pride for Dad, mixed with grief. He'd been a flawed man, caught in a bad world, but he'd fought for us in his own way. Michael reached out, squeezing my hand. He talked about you, Ethan. Said you were the best thing he ever did. I choked back tears, the Polaroid heavy in my pocket. Back home, Claire came over, and I introduced her to Michael via video call. She cried, seeing his face, our half-brother, a living piece of Dad we'd never known. I wish he'd told us, she said, clutching the things I did wrong list. Michael promised to visit, to meet Claire and Noah, to rebuild what Ray and Dad's choices had broken. The police recovered some of the laundered money, and a portion was returned to victims, including a small sum to me and Claire, enough to pay off medical bills Dad had left behind. I used my share to start a college fund for Noah, wanting something good to come from the mess. Ray's trial was swift. He pleaded guilty, his crew dismantled, the fake IDs and cash seized. Daniels called after, saying Ray had confessed to threatening Dad's family, me, Claire, even Tommy, to keep him in line. Your dad took the fall to protect you all, he said. I hung up, staring at Noah's birthday card from Dad. Grandpa's proud of you. I gave it to Noah, telling him about the grandfather he'd never meet, the man who'd loved him from afar. The guilt of saying no to Dad's chemo rides lingered, but it was lighter now. I'd been angry, but he'd been fighting a war I didn't see. Sarah and I hosted a small memorial for Dad, just family. Claire, Michael, Noah, and me. We scattered his ashes by the lake where he taught me to fish. The Polaroid kid's swing set long gone, but the memory alive. Michael shared stories of Dad's brief time with him, and Claire read from his letters, her voice steady. Noah drew a picture of a swing set, saying, for Grandpa, and I pinned it above my desk, next to the Polaroid. Months later, the threat stopped. Ray locked away, his crew scattered. Michael moved closer to Lincoln and started joining us for Sunday dinners, teaching Noah how to fix toy cars. Claire and I grew closer too, no longer carrying Dad's absence alone. My school gave me a community award for my work organizing a fundraiser for the school's math club. I was surprised, but it felt good. A small win after months of chaos. The award was a plaque, simple but heavy, and I placed it on the mantle next to Noah's drawing of the swing set. It was a reminder that life was moving forward, even if the scars of Dad's secrets lingered. The next morning, I met Michael at Holt's office in Omaha. He walked in, and the resemblance to Dad hit me again. Those eyes, that smile, like a ghost of the past. We didn't hug. It was too soon for that. Instead, we sat, the Polaroid of Tommy, Michael, on the table between us. Holt was there, his desk cluttered with files on Ray's case. Ray's done, Holt said, leaning back. His confession's airtight, and the feds are digging into his offshore accounts. The money they recovered, $100,000 so far, will go to victims, including you and Claire, for your dad's debts. I nodded, relieved but overwhelmed. Michael's gaze was fixed on the Polaroid, his voice soft. I remember that day. Dad took me to the park, said it was our secret adventure. I didn't know why he disappeared after that. I told Michael about Dad's letter to Linda, the things I did wrong list, and the burner phone's final text. I'm out. Tell Ethan I'm sorry. Michael's eyes glistened. He saved us from Ray, but it broke him. He thought Ray would come after you and Claire if he didn't leave. My throat tightened. Dad's silence, his abandonment. It wasn't betrayal, it was sacrifice. Why didn't he tell us about you? I asked. Michael shrugged. Fear, maybe, or shame. He thought he was protecting everyone. Claire on speakerphone chimed in from home, her voice cracking. He loved us all, in his messed up way. I nodded, the weight of Dad's choices settling in. Holt interrupted with news. The feds found Linda's last known address in Colorado, but she's moved again. Michael's been in touch with her. She's safe, just laying low. Michael nodded. She's done running. I'm trying to convince her to visit. My heart lifted. A family reunion, even a fractured one, felt possible now. I handed Michael the birthday card for Noah. Dad wanted you to know him, I said. Michael smiled, a tear falling. I'll meet him soon. Promise. Back home, Sarah and I planned a trip to Lincoln for Michael to meet Noah and Claire. The police presence outside our house was gone. Ray's crew was dismantled. His threats empty now. Daniels called with an update. Ray's trial was set, and with the ledger, fake IDs, and his confession, he'd likely get 15 years. Your dad's evidence was the key, Daniels said. He's the reason we got him. I felt a surge of pride for Dad, mixed with grief. His list of regrets had been his redemption, a quiet fight against Ray. The Lincoln visit was a sunny Saturday. Noah ran to Michael, calling him Uncle Mike without hesitation, and Claire hugged him, tears streaming. We sat in Claire's backyard, Noah playing with a toy car Michael brought, a replica of Dad's old Chevy. Michael shared stories of Dad, painting a man I barely knew, funny, loyal, but haunted by mistakes. He never stopped talking about you, Michael told me. Said you were his rock. I choked up, handing him the keychain with Tommy's photo. Keep it, I said. He'd want you to have it. We started a tradition, monthly family dinners, rotating between our houses. Michael moved to Lincoln, opening a mechanic shop, and Noah spent weekends there, learning to fix engines. Claire and I sorted through Dad's things, donating his Bible and clothes, keeping the photos and letters. The settlement money, $20,000 after legal fees, went to Noah's college fund and a memorial bench at the park where Dad took Tommy. The plaque read, Tom Harper, father and fighter. It felt right. One evening, Sarah and I sat on the porch, Noah asleep inside. I pulled out the Polaroid, its edges worn. Still my favorite day, I read aloud. Sarah squeezed my hand. He loved you, Ethan, and you're making him proud. I nodded, tears falling, but they were lighter now. The guilt of saying no to Dad's chemo rides was fading, replaced by understanding. He'd fought for us, for Tommy, in a way I hadn't seen. Now with Michael, Claire, Noah, and Sarah, I was rebuilding what he'd lost. A year later, Linda visited, meeting Noah and Claire, her eyes full of regret but hope. We shared stories of Dad, laughing and crying, the pieces of our fractured family knitting together. The foundation I started in Dad's name funded scholarships for kids like Noah, keeping his spirit alive. As I watched Noah and Michael work on a car in the driveway, Claire grilling burgers nearby, I felt whole. Dad's secrets had torn us apart, but they'd also brought us together. Me, Claire, Michael, Linda, Noah. His mistakes were our bridge to a new family, one I'd fight for every day.